Good afternoon, children. All of you, welcome to this new session. How are you all? Are you studying well for your first time examination? Did you cover the previously learned topics? Okay. We were discussing about the chapter materials, metals, and non-metals. And we have discussed some physical properties of metal and chemical properties of metals and non-metals, etc. in our previous classes. Okay. Then we know that the remaining topics in these chapters are the displacement reactions and the uses of metals and non-metals. So we are going to deal with these two topics in this day. Okay. While discussing about the chemical properties of metals, we have learned the reactivity of metals. Okay. We know that the some metals take more time for reacting in water. For example, we know that iron. Iron react with water very slowly. But also we know that sodium. Sodium is an example for metal and it react vigorously with water. It is very reactive. That means while comparing the reactivity of sodium and which one iron, the sodium is very reactive and iron is less reactive. Like that, the reactivity of all metals are different. Some metals are very reactive and some others are less reactive. Okay. And these less reactive and these more reactive metals are arranged in a table and which is known as reactivity series. Okay, what is reactivity series? The reactivity of metals are arranged in the increasing or decreasing order, which is called reactivity series. That means all metals react with some others in a different rate. For example, we know that sodium react vigorously with water, but the iron react less reactive. Iron is less reactive in water. That is the reactivity of metals are different. Okay. What is called a reactivity series of metals? The arranging of metals in the decreasing order of their reactivity. We know that the reactivity of metals are different. Some metals are more reactive and others are less reactive. And the metals are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivity, and which is called reactivity series. Okay, and which is introduced by Morgan. Okay, and the arranging of metals in the decreasing order of their reactivity, which is called reactivity series. In this reactivity series, the potassium has the topmost position. In topmost position is potassium. That is, potassium is the most reactive metal. And then sodium is the next one. Then calcium is less reactive than sodium. And the next magnesium, that is, the magnesium is less reactive than calcium. And sodium, potassium, calcium are more reactive than magnesium. And can you say two metals which are less reactive than magnesium? That is aluminium and zinc. Aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, etc. are less reactive than magnesium. That is, here the metals are arranging in the decreasing order of their reactivity. The metals with the most reactive metal is arranged in the topmost position, which is potassium. Okay, children, you have to study this table in the correct order, and I will give you a clue to remember these metals in the correct order. Then, which is the most reactive metal? Potassium. Potassium is the most reactive metal. Then the least reactive metal, which is the least reactive metal? That is platinum. Platinum is the least reactive metal. And the symbol of platinum is Pt. Capital letter P and small letter T. Platinum is least reactive metal and potassium is the most reactive metal. That is, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, carbon, zinc, etc. are less reactive than potassium. And sodium, which is more reactive than calcium but it is less reactive than potassium. Then we are discussing about magnesium. Then magnesium is less reactive than potassium, sodium and calcium. And it is more reactive than aluminum, carbon, zinc, etc. Okay, did you get the idea? Then how to remember this reactivity series? Here is a clue for you. First, we know that the most reactive is potassium. The first letter of potassium is P. The next is sodium. The first letter of sodium is S. Next, calcium. First letter C and the first three letters are calcium, Cal. In the left side, I have put the clue P. Potassium. In the left side, I have put please. So, please stop calling me a careless zebra. Okay? Please stop calling me a careless zebra. Please. P for potassium. Stop. S for sodium. And calling, call, that is calcium. Then me. M for magnesium. A for aluminium. Careless, that is care, C-A-R, that is for carbon. Please stop calling me a careless zebra, that is Z for zinc. Instead, try learning how copper saves God. Instead, that is I for iron. Then try, T for tin. Learning, L-E for lead. Then how, H for hydrogen. Then copper. Saves God, S for silver and the next gold. By remembering this sentence, you can easily identify the order of this reactivity series. Okay, reactivity of metals. Please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves God. It's the clue for learning this order. Okay. From this, we know that the reactivity of metals are different. Some metals are most reactive and some metals are least reactive. Okay. And the metals are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivity, which is called reactivity series. Okay. Then, children, in your class 7, you have performed an activity with the reaction between copper sulfate and iron nail. Did you remember that activity? What happened? A iron nail is placed in a copper sulfate solution. Anyone remember that? Okay. Then, first I will show you a video to understand what happened when a iron nail is dipped in copper sulfate solution. Okay. Let's look the reaction between copper sulfate solution and the iron nail.
One of the most common errors to occur in common entrance chemistry is in describing the reaction between copper sulfate solution and iron, in this case in the form of a nail. If I place a small amount of copper sulfate solution into this beaker and place the iron nail into the solution for a few seconds.
Here we have taken some amount of copper sulfate solution in a small beaker and put a iron nail into the copper sulfate solution. And we are waiting what happened when the iron nail is dipped into this copper sulfate solution.
A reaction takes place. The nail soon becomes coated with a pinkish brown deposit.
Yes, we have seen that a pinkish deposit is present in the surface of iron nail. That is, while we putting the iron nail into the copper sulfate solution, there is a reaction takes place and a pinkish deposit is deposited on the surface of this iron nail. That is, it become corroded. Do you know how this happened? Let's look.
When this is mentioned in common entrance questions, the mention of a brown solid in conjunction with iron often leads candidates to think that this brown deposit is rust. However, this is not correct. Iron, being more reactive than copper, displaces the copper from the copper sulfate solution. The brown coating on the nail is copper.
How a pinkish deposit is deposited on the surface of this iron nail? What is the reason behind that? The reason is, here we have taken a copper sulfate solution and dipped iron nail into the solution. Then, while comparing the reactivity of copper and iron nail, we know that both are metals. While comparing the reactivity of iron and copper, the iron is more reactive than copper. So, this iron has the ability to replace copper. That is, we know that in the copper sulfate solution, it contains copper and sulfate. And we dip this iron nail into this copper sulfate solution, the iron replaces the position of copper in copper sulfate solution and it become iron sulfate. The copper sulfate become iron sulfate and that the copper in the copper sulfate is deposited on the surface of this iron. Okay?
On the nail is copper. If this reaction is left to proceed for several hours, a large amount of copper is displaced from the copper sulfate.
That is, if we proceed this reaction for a long time, we can see that a large amount of copper is deposited on the iron nail and the copper from the copper sulfate solution disappears and it become a pale green color. Do you know the blue color of the copper sulfate solution is due to the presence of copper in the copper sulfate solution, and the copper from the copper sulfate solution disappears and the copper is deposited onto the iron nail. Because of this reaction, the color is changed into green color. Okay, that is, when we put a iron nail into the copper sulfate solution for a long time, then the copper from the copper sulfate solution is deposited into the iron nail, because here iron is more reactive than copper. So iron take the position of the copper in the copper sulfate solution, because the iron is more reactive than which one? Iron is more reactive than copper. We've performed the activity, that the reaction between copper sulfate and iron nail. Then let us observe some more reaction of that kind. Okay, all of you listen here.
Activity. Take 500 milliliters beakers and add 20 milliliter water in them. Label the beakers as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Add 5 grams copper sulfate to beakers 1 and 2. 5 grams zinc sulfate to 3 and 5. And 5 gram iron sulfate to beaker 4.
Here we have take 5 beakers and added some amount of water, and in beakers 1 and 2 we have added copper sulfate. Then in the beakers 3 and 5 we have added zinc. In the fourth one we have added iron. Okay.
Now add some iron nails to beakers 2 and 5. Copper turnings to beakers 3 and 4. And zinc granules to beaker 1. Then keep the beakers undisturbed for some time and observe carefully. You will observe that the color of the copper sulfate solution changes in beakers 1 and 2. On the other hand, no change is observed in beakers 3, 4 and 5. In beaker 1, zinc Zn replaces copper Cu from the
We have seen that in the first 2 beakers we have seen a color change, that the blue color is changed into white, and in the second beaker the blue is changed into green color. What happened in the first beaker? In the first beaker, first we have taken some amount of water and we added some copper sulfate crystals. Then we put some zinc granules on that beaker. while comparing the reactivity of zinc and copper. What is the reaction between, how is the reactivity of zinc and copper? Which is the most reactive one? We know that while comparing the reactivity of zinc and copper, zinc is more reactive than copper. So, zinc has the ability to replace the copper in copper sulfate solution. Here, we have taken copper sulfate solution, that is CuSO4, and we added zinc, that is zinc plus CuSO4. CuSO4 is copper sulfate. And while comparing the reactivity of zinc and copper sulfate, the zinc is more reactive than copper. So, zinc has the ability to replace copper from copper sulfate, and it becomes zinc sulfate, which is light blue in color, and copper, which is reddish brown in color. The two colors can be seen in that beaker. Okay, then next.
CuSO4 solution to form zinc sulfate, ZnSO4 and copper. Because of this, the blue color of copper sulfate disappears and a reddish brown substance, that is copper, gets deposited at the bottom of the beaker. Similarly, in beaker 2, iron replaces copper from the copper sulfate solution.
What happens in the second beaker? In the second beaker also we have taken some amount of copper sulfate solution and we added some iron. Then while comparing the reactivity of copper and iron, which one is more reactive? Iron is more reactive. So iron has the ability to replace the position of copper. So in the place CuSO4, instead of copper, Fe takes its position. That is, it becomes FeSO4. Okay. Because while comparing the reactivity of copper and iron, the iron is more reactive than copper. So the iron take the position of copper.
Solution. Hence, the color of the solution changes from blue to green and a reddish brown substance gets deposited on the iron nail. We conclude that displacement reaction takes place between the more reactive metals to the less reactive metals of salt solution.
Here in two beakers a color change is present because the one metal is more reactive than other, so a displacement reaction is taken. In the first two beakers, there is a reaction takes place, but in the other three beakers, there is no such reaction. What is the reason? While considering the third one, in the third beaker, we have taken zinc sulfate solution and added iron. While comparing the reactivity of zinc and iron, the zinc is more reactive than iron. So, the iron cannot replace zinc because the zinc is more reactive. So, iron has not the ability to replace zinc in that solution. So, there is no reaction takes place. And the next one, we have taken iron sulfate, ferrous sulfate solution in the fourth one. And we have added copper in that solution. There also no reaction takes place because while comparing the reactivity of iron and copper, iron is more reactive and the copper is less reactive, and the less reactive metal cannot replace the more reactive metal. Only the more reactive metal can replace the less reactive metal. That is why there is no reaction is done here. In the last here also we have taken zinc sulfate solution and added copper. Here also, while comparing the reactivity of zinc and copper, the zinc is more reactive than copper. So, the copper cannot replace zinc in zinc sulfate solution. In that case also, no reaction takes place. Okay. Then, what do you have understand from these activities? Yes, we know that the reactivity of metals are different. And if a more reactive metal can replace a less reactive metal, we know that a more reactive metal, while comparing the reactivity of copper and iron, the iron is more reactive. So, iron can replace copper from copper sulfate solution. That is, a more reactive metal can replace a less reactive metal. but a less reactive one cannot replace a more reactive metal. Okay, now you can understand why there are no displacement reaction in last 3 beakers, that is 3, 4 and 5. Okay, is it clear about the displacement reaction? What is displacement reaction? A more reactive metal has the ability to replace the position of less reactive one. That is, a more reactive metal can replace a less reactive metal. But a less reactive one cannot replace a more reactive metal. Okay. The last topic in this chapter is uses of metals and non-metals. Okay. You should be able to guess why metals are used in making machinery, automobiles, aeroplanes, trains, satellites, industrial gadgets, and etc. Okay, because we know that the metal has a lot of properties. Due to that property, the metal is used in various situations. Okay, then here are some interesting ones. Okay, the first one is the non-metal is essential for our life, which all living beings inhale during breathing. Can you see which is the non-metal? A non-metal which is essential for our daily life, which all living beings inhale during breathing. Which is the one? It's oxygen. Its answer is oxygen. And the second, non-metals used in fertilizers to enhance the growth of plants. So it's a non-metal which is used in fertilizers. For what? To enhance the growth of plants. Do you know which is the non-metal? Which is phosphorus. Which is phosphorus. All of you write the answers in your textbook. Okay. The next, non-metal used in water purification process. It's very familiar to you. In the well, your father or mother will do it. Okay, which is one? A non-metal which is used in water purification. It's chlorine. Okay. The next is non-metal used in purple colored solution and which is applied on wounds as an antiseptic. Its color is purple colored and it is applied in wounds as an antiseptic. Which is the one? It is iodine. Which is iodine. And the next, non-metals used in crackers. Some non-metals which is used in crackers, which is sulfur and phosphorus. Okay. These are some uses of metals and non-metals. Okay. All of you write its answers in your textbook today itself and study all the topics very well. The first time examination portion of physical science is its chapter friction and this one, which is one, materials, metals and non-metals. Which are the topics? Friction and materials, metals and non-metals. You have to study these two chapters for your first time examination. Which are the chapters? The chapter 4, materials, metals and non-metals, and then chapter 12, friction. Study these two chapters very well. The equal marks question will be from these two chapters. So, please study these two chapters very well. If you have any doubt, you can contact me. Then I hope you will study very well for our first time examination. Anyway, all the best. Thank you. Have a nice day.